All right. Well, good morning, my faith family. I hope you've had a chance to read through the readings, do the prayer, do the Lord's Prayer, grab yourself a cup of coffee. Hope you're finding some relaxation. And here we are into the second Sunday of our Easter season. I hope especially you've read the Gospel of John account, because this is the famous account where the poor disciple Thomas, known as the twin, that's the nickname he's giving in the Bible, but through history has, of course, come to be known as Doubting Thomas, because of the incredulity he had towards the other disciples' testimony that they had, in fact, seen the risen Jesus. And he's like, nope, don't believe it, don't buy into it. Until I put my finger in the hole in his hand or the hole in his side, I'm not going to believe it. And like I said, for 2,000 years now, he earned the fairly unfair moniker of Doubting Thomas. But as I want to build on what I was talking about last Sunday, when this whole time has made Lent and Good Friday, it's very, very applicable. We understand what it feels like to live in a space of loss and sorrow and fear, with death and sickness right in the foreground. But we're into Easter. As I said in the announcements, we're in this 50-day period heading towards Pentecost. We are in the Easter season. And Easter is about life and resurrection and joy. And so that's why I think the Thomas story is especially poignant and fitting, because, I mean, I feel for Thomas. I get Thomas. I feel much more Thomas-ish right now, because how do we talk about this life and this resurrection given the current state of things that we're in, that you're there, I'm here, and we don't know when we're going to be together? Well, as usual, I lean not just on the scriptures, but also on 2,000 years of history and tradition and other Christians that, of course, have been through this. We've been dealing with disasters, global disasters, plagues, violence, poverty forever. In the past, this whole idea of a fairly healthy, stable life for us in the West is only about 100 years old. Like, everybody's talking about the Spanish influenza of 1918 and whatnot. And of course, that's coming on the heels of what we now call World War I. So there was a tremendous amount of death, and we can learn from our brothers and sisters, our great grandparents in the faith, if you will, as the author of Hebrews puts it, the great cloud of witnesses that offer their life, their wisdom as inspiration and guidance for us. I think of people in the Roman Empire, people like Cyprian of Carthage or Dionysius, when they too were dealing with a plague, and people were looking at them and saying, well, what do we do? And their very beautiful and sometimes difficult to hear message was that this is going to happen. And of course, for them, most people thought that was divine punishment. Well, now with our understanding of how viruses work, how germs work, we know that this is all contained within our natural world. And to say that, God is inflicting us with a punishment, I think you have to sort of ignore a lot of scientific discoveries and actually not give a lot of credit to the caring nature of God. This is still, for all its beauty, is a broken world. And so people like Cyprian, like Dionysius say, like, it's our call to serve, to bring peace and ministrations and whatever that can be. And right now it feels really weird, because the way we can bring peace and health and stability is actually just kind of remove ourselves from others so that this disease does not get a greater hold than it possibly could. But that makes us sort of sit back and feel, oh, well, what am I doing? Well, keep in mind, my dear family, this is just the beginning. And when we come out of this, when things start to go back to normal, there'll be many opportunities for us to serve and live out our faith for others, and in the way we can help those who have been financially strained by the lack of work that's happened, by those who have become very, very sad, and in their isolation has made things psychologically, spiritually worse for them. We can minister to them. We can continue to call each other and check in on each other, find ways to connect like this, so that we know that we're not alone, even if we can't physically be around a lot of people right now. There's numerous opportunities to bring our faith to bear, but what I think above and beyond all of the stuff that our ancestors teach us is that it's our view of this that is different. The COVID-19, the bubonic plague, Black Death, the influenza, all the different stuff that's happened, all the varieties of plagues, our leaders time and again reminded us, it's like, this may afflict Christian and non-Christian alike. That's not the point. the fact that you're a person of good faith doesn't mean that we are spared from any kind of the variety of calamities that can happen in life. It's about the strengthening of our faith so that we can have a different perspective, a different view on this. Let God speak to us words of comfort, understandings that no matter what things look like on the outside, God knows us and is with us. And that this is really, all of this that we've experienced so far is just, in the words of C.S. Lewis, the cover page, the introductory paragraph of the novel of our lives. So much is yet to come. So much beyond this world remains. And it's wonderful and it's amazing. And as the author of Revelation says, it's with God so close they could wipe the very tears from your eyes. This can be a joyous journey as we see the redemption, the resurrection, not just of ourselves as individuals, but indeed of all of creation. That is the New Testament story, is that God is saving the world, the cosmos. It's a massive redemption. It's a massive resurrection. We see that in little bits right now because as the whole world has come to a pause, we see the planet healing. We see the ozone layer coming back. We look at the canals in Venice, and for the first time in so long, people can actually see to the bottoms of them. We see that the planet in some ways is actually healing and doing better the more time we take apart. Let that be an encouragement that while there is a lot to fear, while there's a lot of strain and stress on a lot of people too, there are good things happening. I hope you have the ability to spend some more time online and see the countless different ways people all around the world are trying to make the best of this situation. Not by adding more pressure to yourself, like we're never going to have this much time on our own, so you better learn a new language or a new trick or something. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But again, that kind of goes back to that work ethic. Like we have to make this time productive and it has to mean something. Well, one of the great things that Jesus taught us and some of the greatest of his followers have taught us is that there are so many things we are never going to understand, which is why faith is absolutely vital. So let's remember the words of Jesus to Thomas, because Thomas, despite his incredulity, is actually faced later on with Jesus. He's allowed, and Jesus says, here you go, stick your hand in my side. And Thomas falls to his knees and begins to worship. And Jesus says to him, you see me, and now you believe. How much more blessed are those who are going to come after you who do not get the chance to see me, and yet they still believe. This thing is about faith. We can struggle with and figure out how to work that out, what it looks like for ourselves as we ascribe meaning to it, hopefully what it looks like to our neighbors that we want to share the gospel with. But sit in this time as well. Rest in this time. Pray that your faith will continue to be strengthened in this Easter season, to remind you that we are a people of life and love and joy. And when it doesn't feel like it, when you have to preach about Easter in a time of isolation, it calls us to move beyond feeling like things are good, really celebrating and moving into a place of, okay, despite what the world is like right now, I'm still going to celebrate Easter. I'm still going to see this season for what it calls us to see. That life, again, actually does win. And the only way we can believe that right now, sure, like I said, there's a little bit of evidence and whatnot, but really the strength that it comes from walking in a life of faith, that we see with the eyes of our soul, and we let that trump what these eyes are currently witnessing. I love you all very, very much. Happy second week of Easter. I hope you are finding moments of joy and release. I hope you're finding peace and calm. Continue to pray for the people on our prayer list. And I want to lift up our dear sister Peggy right now, who is doing her Christian duty and had the option to say no, but didn't. She chose to use her medical experience and knowledge and has risked everything to step away from Alan, from her family, for who knows how long. That's a testimony. That's a witness, not just to her medical expertise, but to her bravery and her Christian faith. And Teresa Fox has reminded me, thank you, Teresa, that it's actually Peggy's birthday coming up. So happy birthday, Margaret. I will let you call me James as much as you want when we're back in the same spot. But for all of you, whether or not those of us who don't have any kind of medical degree, let's just continue to pray and see how we can live out our faith in service to others. But that has to come from a place where we rest in the one who knows us, the one who calls us, the one who names us, Beloved, I love you. God bless you. I can't wait to be in the same space with you again. And happy Easter.